that cuts across all sectors, right? So like communications. Now you see jobs, you see a banker, right? One of the basic skills a banker should have is, your ability to calculate, to balance sheet. But for someone who, aside calculating and balancing their sheets, can communicate effectively with customers. Now, they will not just be bankers who operate in that sector. There will be bankers who can both calculate and interface between the public and the bank. So these are the people that will be given managerial positions in the bank because they have an added advantage. So this is what your CV is. Your CV highlights your added advantage. And the funny thing is, some of us have the qualifications. Our CVs carry a lot of qualifications, but our placement of these qualifications, our placement of these skills, completely irrelevant and poorly portrayed in your CV.
Yes. It's more like you have it in you,
but you don't know how
to
to
the right way. Balancing need to be effective. It's one thing for you to have a fully packed CV, and it's another thing for it to be effective. If it's not going to get you that dream job, then it's not effective. I'm not saying that, even if you have the best CV, it automatically gets you the dream job. But it gives you
a better fair hearing.
Yes, you get a better chance at being called for an interview, and then at least you have a more chance of expressing yourself, and then they ask you, what you have in your CV, can you defend it? But if you don't even have a presentable CV, the moment someone sees it, they're not even motivated to hear from you, because whatever information that you've put on your CV
is not what I want.
Yes, so they are not even going to waste their time to say, let me call this person or let's reach out to you. So today, right here, as we said, we shall be giving you some of those very important CV tips that could help you land your dream job. We are not saying that this is a total guarantee that you're going to get that dream job, but it's a very huge start, because I think when it comes to employment, this is one place where you get to be judged by the cover. Yes, this is where the book is judged by the cover. Yes, because nobody is going to give you the benefit of the doubt that, you have to do this. So sit back and listen to the moment where we get to inform you about some of these things. But the disclaimer remains that this is not like, it's an automatic guarantee that you're going to get a job, but it's a start, a very decent start. So there are some very important do's that I think it's very important that I point out, and of course Martha will also point out hers as well. I think I like to begin with the fact that you need to understand the format and structure. Even though I've seen a couple of structures where people say, this is the right way for you to put your CV, this is the right way for you to put your CV. I just feel like, just keep it clear. Just keep it very concise. Make it very clear. Your name is there. Maybe your qualification follows, and then your education, your work experience, and then your skills. And then another thing is that, please, there is no need writing so much. I think the most important thing for you to do is just use bullet points. Maybe you've worked in so. Like, what do you think about it?
But I don't think
bullet points to make it too short, but okay, maybe for instance, like, you've worked in maybe you were like maybe a news editor in a particular organization, just news editor, and then you do a dash, and then you did this as this ahead. Okay. So that way. But there are people that use paragraphs. I don't know how to put it, but it makes the CV very bulky.
It's not I think your CV standard CV is 2 to 3 copies, 2 to 3 pages.
Depending on the things you've
depending
done,
on your
the
qualification,
exactly.
So your CV, I think a standard CV is 2 to 3 pages. If it's a managerial position, basically, but 2 pages max.
No, I mean, like, what about writing your experience out
in writing,
like what you've done?
Okay, let me give you an example. CVs is not just for basic jobs. Sometimes for contracts.
Of course,
you have CVs that you put so that these people know that you have credible experience when it comes to handling that contract. So for writing those bullet points that you're saying under the basic your responsibility there, look at what is required of you in the job opening, because many jobs will put, we are looking for a communicator. The communicator should handle this. right?
Yes.
So when you want to write that in your CV now, you have those qualifications, but you have to write it based on what the employer is looking for.
Of course.
And sometimes based on what the need of the employer is. So one time I prepared my CV and I went to an organization. I needed a job there. So when I went for that interview, first of all, like, oh, your CV made us call you. And I'm like, okay, what about my CV made you call me?
Yeah.
And they were like, you highlighted some of the things that you did in your previous employment and some of the things that are lacking in this organization. And we want to know how you will be able to do it.
that, yeah.
So you see, if you have, like, the job is, they will give you an entire description of what you should do. Pick your CV, look at the skills that you have in your CV, and look at what is required from the application portal. Then write your CV in tandem with what you see on that page. So now, if you are a communicator, you will break down what you did, not explaining. I think explaining is what you mean.
Yeah, so that you don't.
Yeah, so you will not
There are
say.
people that don't know, like they'll as if they are writing an essay.
Yes.
There are people who do that. You
Exactly.
look at some
Yes.
CVs and
So
then
you say,
see
I
an
research
entire
and develop
essay.
content. You can now you will now explain and say, no, that's not what you should do. You should, if you are writing communicator and what, you can now put underneath researching and developing content. Then you can write an example. For me, what I do, especially if it's an submission, that's an online submission, I give them examples. If I have clip, I copy the links of the clips and attach it to the CV, so that you know when
you don't
they
need
click
to
on
explain so much.
exactly.
There's already evidence.
Yes, exactly. There's evidence. So you click on the link there so that you can just have an insight on what I'm talking about. Most times what that link does for you is they don't even need to read the other part of your CV. They watch what you are doing
Yeah, it's
live.
more like a practical assessment
Exactly.
of your abilities, of what you can do as a person.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's basically it. Instead of, and that's one thing people fail to understand, that there is need to always document every part of a professional life. Even if you don't need to be a content creator for you to do that.
Yeah.
You've worked in a particular place, document it. Document those times, even if it's pictures, even if it's videos, audio, even if it's your articles, whatever it is that you've done. It's important that you should have something to back up the write-up, because people are no longer interested in hearing stories. They want to see what you have done,
like,
because no matter how much you explain, they want to be able to see what you've done. So present something to them. And another thing is the content, the fact that you need to tailor your CV to the job description. We've given a hint to that, the fact that every job description or every job comes with its own descriptions. The fact that you are here or you are there is going to be different. For instance, yes, you are into communications, right? But maybe a company is looking for a content creator. The other company is looking for a radio presenter or TV presenter. The skills that you prioritize in the CV for the TV or radio presenter will be different from the ones for the content creator. Because as much as they seem to go to one thing about an audience, they still have variations. So it's very important that you highlight those things that are relevant to that job description and the demands of that job, so that you don't stress the person. Because I think somehow, if you're not lucky, like I said, you might be getting hired or being potentially interviewed by a team that is quite conclusive. They don't give a lot of chances. They get to judge the book by the very first cover. So nobody's going to have the time to start calling you to come and explain yourself. They don't have that time at all. So you need to know the relevant things to put in place. Very important. Because if, for instance, you've maybe as the head of news, you did this, you did that, write it. Maybe they're looking for a news editor. That should be the very first thing on your CV after your education.
According to the application.
Yes.
Because you know what most of us do is, because we have the experience, we just write the CV and submit it. You have to know what is required of you on the job, and those are the things that you will explore on your CV.
Yes.
So if it's not just about, I wish there's a better way for me to, it's not just about writing everything that you have done. It's about writing it in a way that it appeals to your employer and give them benefit of doubt that you are capable of filling that position. So I have worked with, maybe you have worked with an NGO, you have worked with a bank, you have worked with different, the funny thing is, as a communication specialist, you can work literally anywhere. You can work across borders, you can work in a tech company, you can work everywhere, right? But aside working everywhere, what specific responsibilities are required for the current job that you are applying for? So if research is one of the major things this company is looking for, in all of your lines, right, about you explore the ways which you have researched in your previous employment. If you are researched, in the health sector, you can just explore those areas. Let them know that, oh, I can research, but this time, not just for the radio. I can research when it comes to the health sector. I can research when it comes to oil and gas. Just diversify your options. So the reason most people don't get called is you just write the skill you have, and you expect the employer to know how far you can go when it comes to filling up those skills. If you ever have an option of sending your CV, either as what they call it, if you either have an option of sending your CV, some people will tell you can either submit your manual CV or you can submit an e-CV.
Okay,
I would advise that you opt for e-CVs, because e-CVs give you diverse options. Remember, the number one option is you can put a link, which should be your highest, like, which should be what you capitalize on, like your link, evidence of your work. Sometimes I even put my social media there, my social media pages, especially if they cover the things that the employer is looking out for. So these are things that we need to learn, because when we talk about writing CVs, some people just pad up the CVs and write very unnecessary things that are not even important to the employer. And the first thing you should write, the first thing after your data page, that is your name, your email address, your phone number, and your address. So your address doesn't have to be full and exact. You can just say FCT. You can just say, because at the end of the day, the most important thing will be your state of residence. Then during the interview, you can now narrow it down to your area or your whatever. But after that, the next thing you want to do is write a powerful statement about a summary of
yourself.
A summary of what you bring to your employer. Okay, let me just leave that to you, then I'll try to find something here too.
Okay, all right, now we're definitely going to get back to that. Now talking about contents, we're talking about the fact that you need to put things that are relevant, and then that brings us to the part where you have to be accurate and honest. Sometimes because we want to get the job, we lie. We just want to lie. We have to misrepresent facts. Yes, you are hardworking, that is not disputed, but why are you saying you can work under pressure, you can do this, you can do that? And then for me, if I was hiring anyone and I saw that, honestly, I would not employ them, because I would feel like,
why do you have to
lying?
To be under pressure?
Why do you want to be under pressure to start with? So I don't think that anybody, I don't know, but maybe some people function better under pressure, but pressure will make you, maybe you will work haphazardly, and it's not going to give a maximum or optimum results, as the case may be. It's just going to lead to something of eye service, or basically you trying to impress them, do the right thing. So I think honesty is very important, and then the visual appeal is another thing. Even though I would say maybe there are some fonts, the professional font that you should use. The very common one is the Times New Roman. That is the very common professional font that even academics people use. And then another one could be the Arial or the Calibri, another one. But I would always say Times New Roman is one thing, one font that I think everybody can relate to.
And it depends on what your employer also wants, because
sometimes they don't even make specifications. Actually, they don't. But like I said, the universally accepted one that we see people use most of the times is Times New Roman. And then moving on to the font size, some people would tell you they have eye problem, so please maintain it at 12. I think 12 is very decent enough. And then also, where you get to emphasize those things that you want your potential employer to see, you have to bold or italize if possible for emphasis. For instance, maybe you are efficient in this, maybe you say efficiency in technology, you bold it so that they see bam, that if they're hiring you, that is what they are going to get on the table. So it's very important. And then another thing is for you to include relevant sections. Yes, you already spoke about that, the fact that you have to put your education, work experience, and skills. Now the way we write, it's work experience, not working experience. It's work experience, not working experience. It's education, not educational background. Just education, it's fine. Work experience is okay, not working experience. There's nothing like that.
You can even put experience, basically.
Yeah, so like, yeah, because I think the work, so it could be work experience or it could be experience. Very important. Nothing like working experience.
Yes, and you're writing from your most recent employment to your previous
another thing is that some people will now go and carry
from 2012.
For instance, if you are, somebody is hiring you as a communications lead, if you did not teach maybe literature, or let's say maybe English language as a core member during your NYC, please, there's no need, don't put it. Maybe you were teaching like CRS or something, don't put it, there's no need. It might be relevant if it's a teaching job.
Yes.
But if it's not a teaching job, I don't think it's relevant.
Yes, and the truth is, you would need to shed your CV eventually, like of some of those things.
Yes.
So you have to eventually, as you grow, that's why it's advised that you keep building on your skills, you keep building
you have
on your experiences.
To write up,
yes. When you are building
your CV rich enough.
There's how you will write, and NYC will become like very irrelevant in your CV. The only thing you will need is just to say you actually went there. So whatever you did that time,
except if you served in a place that is relatable, like maybe you as a radio presenter, before you became like a more professional person during your NYC, you had the opportunity to serve in a radio house or a TV house or in a communications house. Maybe that way it could be relevant.
So the thing is that if you have
imagine maybe serving in a fashion house, anyway, it could be relevant. Maybe
that's another problem.
That's
another problem. See, what we don't realize is, let me tell you, sometimes the haphazard nature of your CV is why you don't get called, and let me tell you why. You have experience of communications, you have experience of fashion designer, you have experience of music director, you have experience of caterer, a chef, you have experience of, so how does all of this experience you have on your CV, you don't have a direct career path, there's no career progression for you in your CV. So now I'm looking for the lead communicator in my organization, but all I see on your CV is I don't have two corresponding roles. That is, maybe from 2022 to 2023 I worked as a fashion designer, 2023 to 2024 I worked at a communication role, 2015 to 2016 I worked in another role. So there's no corresponding. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say.
I get your point.
So the person will just say this person doesn't have a vision for themselves. They don't have a career plot for themselves, because what you have done in your previous role does not in any way relate to what you are currently doing in your role. So what you should look at is career progression. So now if I have settled that I want to be a communicator or I want to be a journalist, all of the roles and the responsibility I have carried out should be in tandem with what I'm currently doing. So the thing is, it doesn't have to be in a radio station. I can be a lead communicator for an NGO. I can be a lead communicator for a pensions board. I can be a lead communicator even for the Nigerian police force.
Or even for the government.
Exactly. So there should be like a clear career path in your CV. Not that you have 5 work experience and it's 5 different things you have done. No 2 corresponding roles. So it's not that I'm a gateman, I'm a chef, I'm a driver. 5 different things in your 5 years of experience. You have not done the same thing twice. That creates some level of instability. Another thing again is the years you have worked. So you see somebody, right? 2015, 2016 I work here, 2016, 2017 I work here, 2017, 2018. That means you are not an employable material.
You keep moving.
Yes, because you are not stable. You keep moving
in one place for long.
The only way that is justifiable is when there's a reasonable.
But sometimes they even get to ask you that why you should better have explanations to that.
The best way to explain is by the progression in the jobs that you take.
Yes.
So say for instance, I'm at Eagles FM now. the next time I'm leaving Eagles FM, even if it's within 1 year, it should be CNN. Do you understand? So they will know that I'm leaving because I got
like
a better
there
opportunity.
should be a
So I'm not leaving because I got another place that is paying me better. That's what some people don't understand. So they are paying you 150 a year, you leave to where they are paying you 160. What's your problem really? 10,000
look
naira
for money.
10,000 naira. So
Well, at the end of the day, we all are looking for the same thing,
so
I guess.
if you are looking to build a career now, money is very important, but the image you put in your CV
Yes.
will determine whether you should be employed
Everyone
or not.
loves money, I believe, but
Exactly.
it's important that you don't be too forward.
Don't idolize it.
Yes, that it's
you
money.
you can be forward about it, but make sure that you have something.
Yeah, there's a way that you can be forward about, but like I'm trying to say, for instance, you are not portraying what you can offer, and then you're just big
Adding for
What are you
exactly. So if I'm telling you that I cannot collect 200,000, I want to collect 500,000.
justify.
Be rest assured that I can give you 500,000 worth of value. So that's it. You cannot overshoot your relevance. That is, you cannot be receiving roles that you are not prepared to fill. That's the basic. So now we talked about the summary. That's after your full name,
Yeah.
your address, your phone number, and your email address. The next thing you want to do is like a summary of what. Let me read out
who you
is of
are.
who you are and your professional experience. So now this one reads, to actively contribute to any organization I find myself and make positive impact, ensuring positive change through quality relationships, contributing to the achievement of the overall goal of the organization through research, teamwork, resourcefulness, and integrity, leaving no stone unturned in the exploration of the organization's strengths. This is a captivating open
Yeah,
speech.
they'll be curious to know how much of that experience you're going to
bring
bring
into the table.
What difference are you going to make in the organization?
Exactly.
And they'll definitely give you a call.
A call.
So it's very important. Now,
Then to the skills you were
All right,
talking about.
yes.
Okay, I think you said that the skills, that's the things that you contribute. Soft skills like Microsoft Office, promotions, public speaking, proposal writing.
so that when when your company needs like
Exactly.
an MC
So you're
or a
strong.
compare, they don't need to go look out anymore because
Yes.
they have, even though they still
Your
need to pay for
strong
that.
point, your strong point, those are your skills. Then you now go to your experiences. That's from your most recent experience to your least recent experience, and then after that you go to your educational background. And some people don't even require this, because I see people put marital status or your religion.
No, you don't need to put that. It's very relevant. You
But
don't need to put that.
yes, so your-
except if it's requested for.
Exactly. So your education and your training. So you first of all start with your highest level of qualification. If you have a master's or a PhD, then PhD to master's,
According to that
master's,
sequence,
exactly. So you put it right there. And then one thing I personally will add, I add workshops and trainings.
Yeah, that's very
and
important.
certifications.
I was even going to come to that.
Exactly.
So if you've
Certifications
gone
that I
through any
have.
certification, and if you have any certification, if you've gone through any training, workshop, conferences, please by all means include. I think there is a caption for that: professional training.
Yes.
That's what is included. Professional training. So attended at this on
Yes,
this day
exactly.
from this time to this
Exactly.
time. You write the focus of that particular training or
Training.
conference and everything. So it's very important because it equips you better and it gives you a better standing among other applicants.
Yes.
And then another thing is for you to understand that you don't need to exaggerate or fabricate information.
Lies.
Just be honest. Don't mislead your potential employer. It's very important. And another thing that you need to do is to review your CV multiple times. Don't get tired of checking. I think someone was jokingly saying that you're looking at your cover letter several times or your mail. I don't know why is it that sometimes when you want to send a mail, if you are typing on the email application, it's likely you make an error.
Yes. But that's how you have to. That's how you have to.
It's
vet.
when you now send it, you now want to see that you start. So it's important you review because it's likely that there will be an error somewhere.
So that's why you have these chat bots. They can help you detect the crime. Crime.
Crime detector.
They can help you detect the error where you can't. That's why. So I try to run by these chatbots many times.
Okay.
I fill it in and I tell it, map out the errors and correct them. And it does for you. Remember, it's garbage in, garbage out. What I give, the command I give to you,
it's the prompt.
exactly. So it's how you prompt it. It can help you check for error. It can help you replace common words with more complex ones, if that's what you want. You can just give it the command and it does it for you. And something I also do is, at the end of my CV, I also write extracurricular activities that I enjoy. So if I play badminton, if I play volleyball, that just gives your employer an idea about
all-round view
balance.
of the person they're
Exactly.
coming for.
So I have balance when it comes to like work-life balance. I like to have that kind of balance. So if I'm taking this job, it should not deprive me from playing badminton that I love to play. If I'm taking this job, it should not stop me from playing the volleyball that I love to play. It's just you communicating your value to your employer, and you don't want to do that wrongly. You have to look for the best way to do it to keep the employer glued to your CV.
Well, that is just it, and I hope that we've been able to do justice to the fact that you need to craft your CV very well, because a well-crafted CV is important for making a strong first impression.
Yeah.
Remember that the first contact you have with your potential employer is your application, and the CV is part of your application. So I'm hoping that today, right here on the workstation, you've been able to learn that you don't need to put in so much. Just be basic, but ensure that whatever you're coming with, that basic, is very powerful to give you a better standing, especially among other applicants. And let me not forget to talk about the fact that I think we've spoken about the age thing, date of birth. I don't think those things are relevant.
They're not.
Marital status, nobody is concerned about how many people you have in your family. And salary expectations, I don't know if anyone has made a mistake of putting salary expectations on their
That's the
CV.
last you will hear from that
Please
person.
don't do that. It's way out of it. Maybe if you have a chance of interview, you could discuss that
Yeah.
and wait for them to ask you.
Yeah.
Wait for them to ask you. And then another one is references, unless requested. I
Yeah.
don't think it's relevant.
Yeah.
You start putting people's numbers. It's not relevant. And before you put someone as a reference, as a referee,
Tell them.
please let them know that you're putting them as a reference point, so that they can be contacted, so that when they contact them, they are not like, who the hell is that? I wasn't supposed to use that word, but well, it's very important that you take note of all of these things. Remember, the disclaimer is that it's not an automatic guarantee, but it is a step towards
Exactly.
landing that dream job. And we
Yeah.
are hoping that when you dust and redust your CV, you'll do the right thing, and of course you will craft that perfect CV to boost your chances of landing your dream job. Thank you so much for listening to the Workstation right here on the Media Extra Show on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. I hope that this hour was able to give you all that it needed to give. Keep listening to Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja.
All right, people, that's where we wrap it up for today. Hopefully we get to revisit this again and we take it step by step.
All
So
right.
that we can follow through and then maybe cover later sometime.
Of course.
Thank you guys so much for being here again. We're wrapping it up now and on to the most anticipated hour of the Mondays, the Girlfriend Show. So you guys keep it locked in here. We will be right back.
All right, keep listening.